You wake up 5,000 years ago. Your wealth can rot.
I'm Max, and I'm trying to pass my economics degree one YouTube video at a time. Look, I know some of you think this is crazy, but my professor told me the only way to actually master global finance is to apply imagination to logic. To me, that translates to stop just reading the textbooks and start visualizing how money actually works. So, I'm doing exactly that. This is Professor Stickbot. He's going to walk us through every single era of money from 5,000 years ago all the way to the AI economy that we're living in right now. There's 11 levels to this with 5,000 wild years of wealth. Let's see if I can pass this degree with a little help from YouTube.
You wake up inside an empire. Your ruler can weaken your money without entering your house. You wake up in a city where families are learning to move fortunes through ledgers. You wake up in a world where your labor has an hourly rate. You wake up today. Your money lives on a screen. One tap can move it. One error can lock it. One new system can change your future before you even understand the rules. This is your rise through every era of money. This is not a normal history lesson. This is your life if you keep waking up at the exact moments when money changes. You are there when wealth is grain. You are there when value gets stamped into metal. You are there when paper starts beating silver. You are there when bankers figure out that records can control kingdoms. You are there when the modern state fuses itself to finance. You are there when your hours become wages, your wants become credit, your savings become digits, and your future becomes data. Every era solves a problem. Every era creates a new dependency. Every era makes somebody powerful. Every era leaves somebody behind. Your job is simple. Notice the rule change early enough to rise with it. And because this is your story, you do not get to stand outside it like a professor with a pointer. You have to make decisions inside each world. Do you store? Do you spend? Do you trust? Do you borrow? Do you adapt? Do you cling to the old system a little too long because it still feels familiar? That is where people fall behind in every century. Not because they are stupid, because old money often feels safer than new money right before old money stops being enough. By the end, you will know which money system made ordinary people feel richest, which one made them safest, and which one quietly trained entire populations to confuse access with ownership. You wake up in one of the first great trading worlds. Your wealth is not elegant. It is heavy, messy, vulnerable, and alive. It is grain in jars, oil in storage, animals in pens, cloth folded in stacks, tools, metal by weight. Whatever your household can grow, carry, count, or defend. Nothing about this life feels frictionless. You want a better plow. The person with the plow wants barley. You have goats. The goat is useful, but the goat is also a problem. It can get sick. It can wander. It can die before the deal is finished. This is your first money lesson. Wealth is one thing. Usable wealth is another. Every exchange takes time. Every trade requires coincidence. Every disagreement becomes personal. There is no app to tell you the rate. There is no universal unit blinking above everyone's head. There is only negotiation, memory, and power. You learn fast that barter sounds simple when described in one sentence and feels exhausting when it consumes your whole day. So society starts improvising. Certain goods become easier to compare. Certain measures start mattering. Storage becomes sacred. And then a deeper shift begins. Temples and palaces become trusted places to hold wealth. That changes your imagination. Before this, if you wanted security, you wanted your wealth close. Now you can deposit it. Now someone can record it. Now value begins separating itself from the object. The grain still matters, but the record of the grain starts mattering too. That is enormous, because once a society can say, "We know what you brought, we know what is owed, and we will honor that claim later," money begins drifting from substance toward accounting. You still live in a world of physical goods, but now your goods cast shadows, claims, promises, obligations, debts. A clay tablet does not look exciting. A clay tablet can quietly change civilization. You deposit grain after harvest because storage is hard, theft is real, and sacred places feel safer. A scribe presses symbols into wet clay. Suddenly, your memory is externalized. That means trade can stretch farther than one conversation. It means time can separate deposit from use. It means loans become thinkable at scale. It means the future can be pulled into the present. Now you can plant with borrowed grain. Now a merchant can carry goods between cities with some confidence that obligations will be recognized. This is still early, still rough, still local, still slow, but the first superpower of money is showing itself. Not gold, not profit, not luxury. Record keeping.
All right, that's level 1 done. Next time, Professor Stickbot takes us to ancient Lydia, where some genius decided melding metal into circles was a good idea. Spoiler, it changed everything. Subscribe so you don't miss it, and tell me in the comments section what you think or any question you have. Let's pass economics.